Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on a Friday afternoon. I'm hoping you can all see me and you can see the screen that I'm sharing in some way. Looking at me is less important. Listening and maybe looking at the presentation is probably the most valuable thing you'll do as part of this webinar today. Although I do have a bit of a surprise for you. You're going to have to use your brains in a second. So 26 people have attended this afternoon. We are recording the webinar, so if you lose connection, don't worry. There'll be a recording available for you afterwards. And also, for those of you joining us who weren't able to make it today, I feel like I've gone forward in the future, but if you weren't able to make it today and it's now next week, which means it's this morning for you, then welcome. Thank you for taking time to watch the recording. Welcome to the webinar, all about playlist fundraising. I'm Lee Clark. I'm one of the founders and the CEO here at GivePenny. CEO stands for Chief Everything Officer, although we've had a crazy year and it's now no longer me doing everything. I've got a whole team of people that have joined the GivePenny crew who frankly are rock stars, and we wouldn't have got through the last year without them. So big shout out to everybody who's joined us recently. So who are GivePenny? Well, we're here to bring the world connected giving. Our entire ethos is all about helping charities connect with fundraisers. And at the moment, we use the world's favorite apps to do that. And as a result, we help charities exceed their fundraising goals. We help fundraisers exceed what their expectations are for how much they can raise. And we have loads of fun along the way. I thought we'd do a little bit of, for want of a better phrase, an icebreaker. It doesn't mean anybody's got to stand up and tell everybody who they are and where they're from and what they do, but I do need you to engage on the chat. So if you open the chat functionality, get your brain cells going. I would like you to help me build a playlist. So fundraising teams have been through an awful lot this past year, and I mean a lot. And everybody on this webinar will have some reference point for how bloody hard it's been. I think it would be nice to build a playlist of appreciation for all of the fundraising teams up and down the country who, frankly, have put a shift in. It's been a real slog. I think we should use the theme of giving as something that drives the track choices for this playlist. There's no need for you guys to donate to add a track, but I would like you to have a think about any songs that have, I don't know, giving or give in the title, or songs about giving that we can add to this. I'll then add them to the playlist. I'm then going to share the GivePenny page on LinkedIn and ask other people to add songs in dedication of our wonderful fundraising industry. And I'd ask you to do the same. So if you could have a think now, if you want to have a look at the fundraising page or share it on LinkedIn after today's webinar, then feel free. It's givepenny.com/tracks for fundraisers. But for now, if you could all have a think about which tracks you'd like to add and put them into the chat, I'll be able to add them later. Let me just get where's my mouse gone? There it is. I think it's called the Q&A section. So add some in as you go. And yeah, let's move on with where we're at. So what is connected giving? Connecting things closer together to create something that's greater than the sum of its parts. That's effectively what we're trying to do. In the traditional online giving arena, for the past 20 odd years, we've settled for just giving the fundraiser a way to be closer to their social media accounts in order to drive donations to the charities they love. And hey, we now live in a world where social media platforms encourage giving themselves to great effect. Connecting fundraising and social media was just the beginning. Back in 2015, we created GivePenny, and we believed then, and we do now, that connecting charities, fundraisers, and their donors closer to the activity they were using apps for was going to be the big part of the future of philanthropy overall. Priming everything as if giving and a sense of being generous were the main reasons people decided to take on a fundraising challenge was always a little backwards to me. There's a lot more going on in front of the giving bit. My own personal experience that led to the GivePenny concept coming to the front of my mind was based on me cycling for charity and being frustrated that none of the activity that I had put in was directly connected to how much I had raised, and really couldn't show anybody the effort I'd been putting in. The wet Tuesday mornings, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to find hills on a bike, being halfway up those hills and thinking about raising money for Prostate Cancer UK. None of that was at the forefront. It was just basically a flat fundraising page that took donations. So whether that's running, cycling, baking, gaming, stepping, sharing, listening, all the ings, it matters in front of the giving bit. Now, we ask the fundamental question now, how can we bring everyone even closer together and connect them in deeper ways in order to fund fixing society's biggest problems that the charities have been set up to deal with and manage and orchestrate in the first place? So we believe the answer to that is connected giving, providing deeper visibility of what a fundraiser is up to, directly connecting donations to their activity, celebrating the impact everybody involved is having, building connections, connecting apps to fundraising, activity to donations, and charities to their supporters. Today, we're here to talk about how the social interactions powered by music can be converted into a connected giving superpower. So, unless you've been living under a rock or in your own house for a very long time, you'll have noticed that the way we consume entertainment has fundamentally changed over the past few years. Thanks to the power of streaming music from apps like Spotify, unprecedented access to millions of tracks. It's meant that while we've become more exposed to information overload from an increased amount of time online, we can still escape into our own cozy cocoons of tunes when we want to. Something hasn't changed though. Even during a pandemic, music is ever present while we're having fun, while we're running, cycling, walking, gaming, working. Whatever we want to do, it can be there. It can nudge us along when we need it the most. From chilling out to music therapy, motivation during exercise, something I do an awful lot of, is always listening to music when I'm exercising, right the way through to helping people with dementia. Music is a powerful tool for many people in many different scenarios. And it's becoming more digitally social than ever as well. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by digitally social? Well, if the likes of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, if they're generic social media platforms, and let's face it, on the way to becoming their own media companies really, then the likes of Strava, the social platform for athletes, Twitch, gaming community for live broadcasting, and Spotify for music, they're social platforms as well. They're actively building communities with common interests at their core, rather than trying to be all things to all people. You'd benefit, I think, from considering more than just the well-known social media platforms as social, rather than just as fun apps that fulfill a purpose like listening to music. Strava self-describes itself as a social platform for athletes. Netflix and Disney Plus, they're playing with the idea of watch parties. I mean, my daughter, 11 years old, would rather sit in her bedroom and watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier at the same time I'm watching it downstairs as part of a watch party than actually sit next to me on the sofa. Twitch, it's a community of people who like to create entertainment content And for those of you of a suitable age, that's basically lots of people being Terry Wogan, like on Children in Need. And Spotify is bringing people together through the shared love of playlists and podcasts. So with all that in mind, how do we blend fundraising, music, and giving to create something truly special? It's an important step that many people in fundraising teams ignore in favor of falling in love with GivePenny and playlist fundraising and different features and the fundraising platforms that are out there. And expecting that, like, just the mere presence of an innovative fundraising product will mean that it will be successful. There's a piece of work required up front on which all of the fundraising tools stand in order to make a fundraising product a success. You have to create the case, plan for success, and don't skip the steps. And where, more granularly for you, look at reviewing where music might apply in your existing audiences for a start. Clue, it's almost everywhere. Music's everywhere. Look at your intended audience, look at competitor research, and yeah, I know that the charity sector is full of friends, but you are all competition. And look at any similar products. And the thing about doing this kind of stuff, especially with playlist fundraising, is there aren't many similar products. So there's no blueprint for success, and it forces you into this process of having to really think through what you're doing and why before you crack on with building the product. My favorite part of the process is getting creative. Not a lot of people spend more than maybe 1 or 2 meetings being creative. You know, it used to be brainstorms, and I think that progressed to thought showers. Now we have ideation. Effectively, giving yourself the breathing room to stew on ideas. Put yourselves in situations where your mind will wander. It used to be driving for me. Like, I'd obviously be paying attention to the road, but driving was where I could have space to think. And a lot of ideas I've had, whether it's a change in process at work or something I want to do at home DIY wise, or ideas for fun to spend time with the family, whatever it's going to be, a lot of those ideas come from when I've given myself time to think. Being in a car, you're kind of forced to either listen to the radio, talk to whoever's in the car, and if you're on your own, it's yourself. I recommend that you spend longer than you think allowing yourself time to be creative. We recommend lots of snacks and caffeine. That tends to work as well. Set out what success looks like. Don't look at it as a one-time only tactical product. Back in 2020, the world went mad. Everybody panicked, rightfully so. The entire charity sector went, we need to do something. There's no physical events. Maybe things will be fine by the end of May. Perhaps this is just a short-term solution. We'll do something quickly. We'll release something tactical. This kind of stuff, now that we're returning to normal, requires a little bit more of a long-term vision. So set out what success looks like in year one. In a year one product, there's slightly different success criteria. You know, it's not just about how much is raised. There's a lot of subjective value to trying a new product with a new audience, having done all the planning. And then when you get into the iterations of the same product in years 2, in year 3, you can start to blend in much more return on investment, like figures and expectations and definitions for success. And on the finance side, develop a high-level financial model. Spend a little bit of time working out, well, if I invest this and things go the way that we want them to, we could raise this amount of money. Most test products, if you get an ROI of 2 or 3 to 1, so £2 or £3 raised for every £1 spent, then that's a pretty good start. And you can use that as the launch pad to then iterate. It doesn't have to be waiting till next year. It can be something you fit in the current year, depending on the product that you've built. So yeah, create the case for what you're building around playlist fundraising, plan for success, and don't skip the steps. And what I mean by that is don't skip this first step of actually planning what you're going to do, rather than falling in love with the technology and how cool it is and what it does. So the power of music. Just to give a sense of what's possible, we went through this process ourselves in 2020. This is when we really weren't allowed outside the house, if you remember back that far. Feels like it was the dinosaur age, doesn't it now? Created by GivePenny, the nation's playlist was in aid of Cancer Research UK. And we launched it at a time where charitable focus was entirely on NHS charities together, which was no bad thing. The entire nation, as far as charity was concerned, was only thinking about the NHS heroes that have kept us alive and looked after us in the past year. I mean, that was spring 2020, which feels like an age away. We felt there was a need to bring the plight of more great causes to the front of public discussion. Being a fundraising platform, we were talking to our charity partners constantly. I mean, you cannot over communicate in a crisis, and we were talking to everybody that we work with as they were trying to navigate the terrors of having to deal with having the rug swept from under us. And we could tell that there needed to be more narrative around the idea of charities rather than just one single cause needing the public's help. And this was before the 2.6 challenge and everything else that then went on to build momentum into what has been an outpouring of dedication from the public in giving and fundraising, and we've seen the explosion in virtual events, all that kind of stuff as a result. So we approached Sky News to see if they'd like the idea of talking about what we were trying to do. Now we're just an operation of people that work really hard, and at the time I was working from our playroom in the house, which used to be a garage, and it's just full of toys, and creates a kind of impression with your customers, really. That's where I work from. The key thing was we were asking the nation to help us build a playlist full of positive songs with meaning, so we could share in the experience of listening to it at the height of social restrictions. And everybody needed some positivity back then. Even though the sun was out, we were all locked in our houses, and it hadn't really been long after I think the furlough scheme had been announced, and it was a lot of uncertainty. Crucially here, we weren't leading with an appeal for donations. This wasn't about asking people to donate. It led with building a playlist. It led with, we need some positivity in our lives, everybody, don't we? And therefore, it was able to tick the box for us, which was it had connected giving at its core, and it was operating at its best right there. So we approached Sky News. We're pleased to say that we managed to get some coverage. We were on Breakfast with Kay Burley, which was a lot more than we thought we'd get. It's only a few million viewers, and probably more than they were used to because everybody's in the house. And no, I wasn't nervous. I was, I was. It was really nerve-wracking. I even wore a shirt, which, if you know me, is unusual. The average donation per track during that few days was around £7, for those of you that like data. We don't have like a minimum donation for adding a track on Spotify, but I'll go through the process in a bit. I'll show you how it works. And we had many people adding more than one track, which was really exciting to see from an analysis point of view. The highest donation to add a song to the nation's playlist was £100, which just felt amazing to see. Which leads me to a working example of how playlist fundraising works. So this will be an autoplay video if I've been clever enough with the old technology. So here's the nation's playlist. It was a microsite that we built in front of the GivePenny platform. It should play. Wait for that to warm up. Oh, things were going so well, weren't they? Give me a second. Never do a live demo. This isn't a live demo either. This is a recorded demo that works perfectly well about half an hour ago. While I'm refreshing this, let's also have a look and see if anybody's asked any questions so far, because I've been talking quite a lot. Let's have a look. I'll refresh the page. Yeah, our internet's been loads of fun today. You notice how chilled I am? This is like, you know, if you were doing like a big pitch in 2019 and you had like this webinar you were doing, you got 27 people, you'd be really panicky right now if things weren't working. But do you know what? We've all been through so much. What's the point in worrying about anything not working properly? Let's see if this works. Here we go. So the Nations playlist in Early Cancer Research UK. So on every fundraising page, actually, not just on microsites, the playlist itself appears and is interactive. You can preview the tracks. If you're a Spotify user, it'll ask you if you want to open it in the Spotify app. And as you can see, you know, it had lots of tracks on there. The idea was that we were asking people to pick a song and then donate and then share why they chose that song. Crucially, it raised a little over $3,000. We also had a Twitter account linked to the fundraising page on GivePenny, which meant that every time someone added a song, it automatically tweeted the song and the meaning behind it if someone left a message, which was really nice to read through the meaning behind some of the song choices. So how does the donation process work? So scrolling back up, normally on a fundraising page, the donate button is ever present. We hit the donate button. So we pick a track, and it's from any of the millions of songs that are on Spotify, and it's without leaving the GivePenny website. So I was looking for a positive song. I thought, you know what? I'm going to put Mardy Bum on by the Arctic Monkeys. And there's a reason for that. You can donate as little as 50p to add a track. We don't set a donation amount. We don't minimize it. And that's led to some insights as well. Like I say, average of £7 per song added. And you can leave a message like you can on a normal donation on if you were just giving money or donating money direct to a charity. And it's because sometimes it's okay to be a little bit grumpy. We've got to let the grump in sometimes. Otherwise, you haven't got a reference point for when you feel great. Obviously, we have the gift aid option, but rather than share with you guys my home address, I figured maybe for the demo, don't add gift aid. Because it's on an iPhone, you could use Apple Pay and pay with your face, which is great in 2019. Now we wear face masks, so that's a bit annoying for everybody who visits any shop at the moment who has an iPhone 10 or above. And then there's the prompt to crack on and share your song choice on social media. And then in homage to the 5K May challenge, nominate a number of people to do the same. Instagram went mental. People were adding their track choices to stories. People were saying how nice it was to put the Nations playlist on. Every single song was positive. Nobody abused it. It was just a lovely, positive place on the internet. And there aren't enough positive corners of the internet, are there? So let's have a look to see what kind of song choices people have added. Right, you ready, everybody? We've got Gimme All Your Lovin', ZZ Top. I remember that from my childhood. Back in the days when VHS tapes were a thing. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Give It Away. Love it. Ed Sheeran, Give Me Love. Give It Up, KC and the Sunshine Band. Dionne Warwick, That's What Friends Are For. Thank you, Gemma Murray. Rudimental, Not Giving In. Yep, absolutely, I did that one. Give, Take, Porridge Radio. Nice one, Toby. Give It Up, KC and the Sunshine Band again. Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. ABBA, Gimme More, Britney Spears. Everyone loves a bit of Britney. Guilty Pleasure. She's like my kind of like second choice behind Madonna for guilty pleasure. Together, Sia, Try Everything from Shakira, You've Got the Love, Florence and the Machine, everyone loves a bit of that. Keep the Faith, John Bon Jovi, Give Me More, Britney Spears again. Better Together, Jack Johnson. Song from my wedding day. Beautiful song. Give a Little More, Maroon 5. Yes. Come Together, the Beatles. That's fantastic. I will add all of those songs to the playlist, tracks for fundraisers, and then I'll share on LinkedIn the link to the page, and we'll see if we can get a few smiles out of some fundraising teams and get them listening to that lovely playlist dedicated to them. So thank you everybody for interacting with that. So what happens next? Well, by attending this webinar, you've reached the top of the queue. We're giving you guys a free playlist fundraising ideation session, 30 minutes or so. We will effectively lift up what you guys are doing and look to see where playlist fundraising could help you raise more. Ideation sessions with GivePenny are another level. If you want to talk to any of our charity partners that work with us, I'm sure they will say the same. And we'd like to offer that free to you guys for taking the time on a Friday afternoon before bank holiday weekend to listen to me bang on about tunes and donations. You'll need to book yours now because there are limited spaces, because there is only a set number of people at GivePenny. We can't do hundreds of these things. And it will need to be for some time in June. But by visiting home.givepenny.com/playlist ideas, it will take you to a place where you can book a call direct with me, and we'll do a Zoom session where we smash some ideas together and work out how it can fit for your cause and for your audience. So yeah, that's basically playlist fundraising in a nutshell. And hopefully that's been useful for you guys to listen to. I have recorded this session. It will be available for you guys to view and share internally with any stakeholders. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Oh, the link doesn't work. Oh, sorry, Charlie. Let me see if I can rectify that. 1 second. Oh, okay. Give us 10 minutes after this session. This link will work. We will fix that. Thanks for letting me know, Charlie. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions, bang some questions in the chat. It would be good to hear from any of you if you have any specific questions about how it works, about how GivePenny works, any of that or any of that kind of stuff. I will stay online. Feel free to drop off if you've got what you came for. But if you want to stay and ask some questions, I'll stay around. I need to make a list of all these tunes, you see, to put onto Spotify. So thanks for coming if you're going. But yeah. The link's on the Daniela, can I repeat the link? Yeah, the link is on the slide. So I need to make it work though. The auto forward for some reason hasn't worked properly. So it's home.givepenny.com/playlist ideas. Give me 10 minutes after this and I'll get it working properly. Thank you, Alex. Have a good bank holiday to you as well. Thanks for coming. And you, Aaron, thank you. I'm going to stay. It's like my joke here normally is like there's a post-credit scene, so you got to see what happens at the end. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Victoria and Will. Yeah, can't wait for the bank holiday weekend. It's going to be great. I'm not dancing. There are some tunes on in the background. I don't know if you get picked up by the mic, but there are. Alice, yes. So fees for charities. So we are just our entry level. We have a free trial. Subscription for the charity is £50 a month. We don't hide any features. you get access to everything that would allow you to set up anything from playlist fundraising campaigns and fundraising pages through to donations for selfies and in tribute donations for images as well. We also have connections with Runkeeper and Strava and Fitbit, Twitch and YouTube, and all of that gets unlocked at our entry-level subscription. There are fees from the payment processor, so whether that be PayPal, if someone chooses to donate with PayPal, or with Stripe. If they're using Stripe, that would basically means that they're using their debit or credit card. And if they have a device like iPhone, Android, they can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, all the pays. And then there are fees from GivePenny where we take 5% of the donation, meaning that it's risk-free, and it covers the cost of bringing out new features like this. We also work with charities on branded microsites and behavior-based email journeys for things like virtual marathons. We do everything, basically. And if you'd like to know more, then feel free to book a call with us, and myself and the team would be happy to walk you through how we might be able to help you. Cool. I think that's it then. Thanks ever so much, everybody, for attending, and look forward to seeing you in your free ideation sessions. I'll get that link working very soon. All right.